Here's something you probably all can relate to. You arrive at work ready to take on the day. Right out of the gate, you're full of energy from that big gulp-sized coffee you chugged. Or that giant line you snorted, I'm not judging. But at some point, you hit that post-lunch slump, and when 4:30 rolls around, you're scrambling to get shit done. Instead of an evenly paced workload, your day is now bookended with a majority of your responsibilities. Well, apparently that phenomena extends to the television industry. Because despite an okay start, Agatha all along has been dragging ass for about 5 episodes now. Not only has the story been bland, cringy, and predictable, it feels as though nearly every episode follows a formulaic pattern. The bitches find a house, change their clothes, and do a random-ass trial before the one they no longer need dies. So I guess down your stimulant of choice?
Wanna do some cocaine?
Cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
And let's see if the trend continues. Disclaimer, this episode was told in nonlinear fashion, so some of this will be extremely confusing. Trust me, when I was writing this script, I barely knew what the fuck was going on. We open up with bemoaning Myrtle inexplicably falling in a completely blacked out area dressed as Glinda the Good Witch of the North.
Only bad witches are ugly.
I'm sure that will have some significance down the line. We cut to show intro 2, or as I like to call it, the one they should have led with. We see Flamer and Agatha pressing forward on the witch's road.
I'll get a nosebleed trying that hard to read my mind. You just can ask me your questions. Aloud.
Where's Rio?
Not that question.
It's almost like he can read my mind from the previous video. I guess he should have stuck with his initial strategy because this is a question she refuses to answer.
Any other queries for your old babysitter? I'm your mom's best friend.
She's not my mom.
But Flamer, if you consider Tommy your brother, that means you consider Wanda your mother.
Is Wanda Maximoff really dead?
Yes. No. Maybe.
How come I get the feeling that that line was directly from the storyboarding room?
Hey, you want straight answers? Ask a straight lady.
I would assume he would need to go into a different industry to find one of those. They come across the site of the next trial, which for once isn't a suburban house.
That's different.
So kudos for kind of changing it up a bit this time.
And now for something completely different.
Entering the castle, they are transformed into the Wicked Witch of the West. I wonder if this will be the new most offensive thing that Cynthia Erivo has seen.
She's based on me, you know.
And the oh-so-masculine character of Maleficent.
Well, if the cheekbones fit.
Oh dear, what an awkward situation.
Noticing a circular table, Flamer identifies it as tarot, and because he hasn't learned his lesson, picks up the deck of cards. This might seem pretty stupid considering every other trial started after a similar act, but I'm sure this time... I retract my previous statement about changing things up. Seeing as how they once again have no fucking clue what they're supposed to do, Flamer begins reading for Agatha.
So, obviously you're leaving somewhere behind, and you have these sphinxes with you, and they represent your mysteriousness. Okay, this card hasn't really come up much for me, so...
Well, as luck would have it, the ceiling is lined with swords, which are triggered to fall if the fortune is read incorrectly. Seeing as how Flamer is clearly retarded and has no idea what he's doing,
Oh, you have a real gift.
Agatha decides to give it a go.
My turn. Tarot is a con like any other.
She promptly begins plopping cards down on the table randomly, nearly killing Flamer in the process. Let's be honest here, what would have truly been lost had she succeeded?
Absolutely nothing!
You see, she's convinced that if they keep at it, they will find the proper combination eventually, or at minimum, all the swords will fall. Never mind the fact that they only have 30 minutes to complete these trials.
I'm not sure how much math you did back in Salem, but that will take forever.
Seeing as how she's basically attempting to cheat, the room decides to force their hand as the ceiling begins to lower towards them.
I wish Lilia was here.
Well, I guess too bad she's dead.
I was falling.
Oh, that's actually kind of a surprise. I honestly thought she was done for. Hopefully she can explain to us where they are.
Where are we?
So the clairvoyant can't decipher her location. She basically starts babbling and confusing the shit out of Jada Pinkett bitch.
Teen is the son of the Scarlet Witch? How do you know?
I told you.
Yeah. You very clearly said we had to follow this gross tunnel and look for shelving.
I don't know what that means.
Then something happens that I never thought was possible.
Go on.
Remember all those random mental breakdowns she was having through the episodes?
Am I wispy or am I kooky?
Well, those, and you might want to sit down for this one, those actually get a payoff. It turns out that bemoaning Myrtle doesn't experience time linearly, rather all at once but out of sequence. Kind of like Dr. Manhattan, just with significantly less swinging blue dick. All of the schizo moments form a full statement which we're warning against things yet to come.
Alice! Alice, don't.
Which all leads back to her first lesson with her grandmother in Sicily centuries prior.
Picture it. Sicily, 1912.
She begins jumping through what she calls gaps in her life, first with Jada Pinkett Bitch.
I would get these flashes, these gaps.
That sounds terrifying.
No shit.
Then followed by being in the tarot trial with Flamer and Agatha. After being narrowly saved from impalement, she lashes into a rage aimed at Flamer.
Oh, ow! I thought we were cool. We are not cool, teenager.
But is calmed down by Jada Pinkett Bitch. If only the real Jada Pinkett Smith had calmed down Will.
You're not mad at the kid anymore.
What are you wearing? What am I wearing? This is so demeaning.
Hey, we can be culturally offended later.
Okay, you know, I was really looking to give you guys a pass here. The writing was almost starting to not suck, but you just couldn't resist, could you?
We are dumb as shit.
I'll let it slide this one time, show, but you're officially on notice. Bemoaning Myrtle begins piecing together what she was just doing, which was reading for Flamer.
Lilia, are you the one who cast the sigil on me?
Motherfucker, do you have any other lines?
I saw what was going to happen to you that night. I saw who you were and who you would become.
As they dawdle, more swords come crashing down around them and the ceiling begins descending, again, as Myrtle experiences her panic attacks all at once until she's once again back in Sicily.
Sicily, 1912.
Where they are speaking a suspicious amount of English, by the way.
Which requires a coven.
Her grandmother continues to berate her for her lack of understanding of her purpose.
Your task is not to control, but to see.
We flash back into the mud tunnels from earlier, and Myrtle is once again confused about where she is. She's like really bad at this omnipresence thing.
We are dumb as shit.
She stumbles upon Flamer's spellbook, which is weird considering he lost it quite a long way back. They then find the shelving representing the door of the trial that Flamer and Agatha are currently failing, and upon arrival sits down to do the tarot reading.
Who massacred this spread?
She did.
Who's the querent?
You mean the subject?
Well, duh.
Me, I guess I'm the querent.
Are you very sure you're not homosexual?
We get it. You like to suck dick. It's fine. You do you. But you don't need to remind us every 5 fucking minutes that homosexuality exists. What I find amazing about this type of word assembly is that these are the same motherfuckers who claim that they want to normalize these things.
I'm gay.
Yay!
But normalization requires that you don't make it the character's entire identity. All this overemphasizing ends up doing is annoying people who would otherwise ignore it and distract from the narrative.
And have a good first day at school. Daddy's gay. Thank you.
Likely because everybody is rolling their eyes and don't see what comes up next. Imagine a sitcom where you had a character walking around at least once per episode yelling, "I love..." It would get annoying, wouldn't it? Hell, even Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother had to settle down at one point.
I wish I could see her naked. I wish I could see her naked.
And that was over the top for the sake of the gag. Anyway, since the show has somehow gone nearly 20 minutes without the group of hags nagging one another, I guess we're due.
We don't have time for this.
Shuffles and cut. How are we gonna get out of here? Question must be vital to his journey on Earth.
I'd say it's pretty vital.
Am I William or am I Billy?
This is apparently the proper question to stop the ceiling, by the way.
Huh?
Myrtle explains the type of reading that she will be doing.
This is the safe passage spread.
Yeah, boy.
First card is you, the traveler.
Who cares?
Next comes what's missing.
Everything.
The reason for your quest.
No reason.
Here is the path behind. Wounds suffered, lessons learned.
What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
She begins the reading, but for some reason the swords continue to fall.
I don't mean to question your methods.
Then don't.
We see more of the past freakouts, culminating in Myrtle filling the gaps of needed information.
I was falling. I will fall. I can see all the pieces falling into place. The gaps are filling in.
Before noticing that there are 2 paths to choose from. One which leads off the witch's road, the other doesn't. Yes, that all seems confusing and hard to follow, but imagine what it's like reading this shit.
I can't read.
Get out of here! I would just like to congratulate anyone who's made it this far. You're the real MVP. While they ponder which to choose,
No way am I falling for this shit again.
the Salem 7, who have done fuck all up to this point, march through chanting Agatha's name. Why are the retarded half dozen plus one down here in these tunnels?
I don't know.
The bitches choose to stay on the road, of course, but this is the last piece of information Myrtle needed to realize that she needs to read for herself to complete the trial.
I hope you'll join me, because you are my sister in the craft.
Okay.
She's reading for the wrong person. I am the Traveler.
That doesn't make sense.
Three of Pentacles. Collaboration, community, Three of Swords. Heartbreak.
But just as we're about to learn the destination, we see one last flashback to when Myrtle and Jada first fell through the mud, revealing that
all roads lead to me.
Holy fucking shitballs, who could have called that? Everyone! Definitely not Dark Hour. Look, it's still a catchy song. With the trial complete, an Iron Maiden opens and reveals the exit. The useless Seven catch up to them, and Myrtle stays behind to buy time, because we've got to have more forced melodrama.
When you successfully complete a trial, like I just did, it's not a good idea to overstay your welcome.
How the fuck do you know this? Only one person has ever succeeded in completing the road, and she's given you absolute dog shit info up to this point. Turning the tower upright, the entire castle flips, causing Myrtle and the Seven to plummet toward the now sword floor, like they just lost the pit level in Mortal Kombat.
Finish her!
Okay, serious question here. What the fuck was the point of the Salem 7? They did nothing except occasionally duck walk through a scene.
What a fucking waste.
Once they served what little purpose they had, they were just killed off like every character so far. The same goes for Myrtle. Why do a fake-out kill in a prior episode only to bring her back and kill her again? What was the point? I said it in previous videos and I'll say it again. Killing off characters as soon as they have used up their worth completely destroys the character development of this show. It's a shame the ending wasn't stronger, because I can genuinely say this episode had some actual decent writing peppered into it. So you officially got all those pesky nuisance guests out of your house. Good for you. However, unfortunately, the last game of Name That Disney Trope Home Edition revealed that your spouse is an absolute mindless consumer.
This isn't life! This is just stuff.
Rather than risk a ruined reputation, why not suggest round 2 and reach for the Name That Disney Trope Divorce Expansion Pack? Strategically jam-packed with questions about Disney princesses scientifically engineered to piss off both of you at the exact same time. Be the first to complete all categories and make it to the center of the board to reveal the hidden prize. Pre-notarized divorce papers and a forged prenuptial agreement guaranteed to fool any judge or your money back. Or at least half of it, I guess. So pre-order your copy and pre-book your separation before it's too late. The episode opens up on Mall Cop laying on the ground, awoken by a touch to her face where she sees Wet Dream. Mall Cop is pointed in the direction of a curious sight, her corpse emaciated and still wearing the clothes from the Ouija trial. She realizes that she is in fact dead and about to be led into the afterlife.
This can't be the end, it has to be the beginning.
You're a protection witch. You died protecting someone.
Rejoining Jada Pinkett Bitch and Flamer, we see that the door behind them is closed, and Jada explains to Flamer exactly who Wet Dream has been this whole time.
Green witch with a capital G. She told us who she was in the very beginning.
Agatha's ex is death.
Oh, you're a fucking genius, huh? Who forged your transcript, dickhead?
Where is Agatha?
We see that Agatha is back out on the Witch's Road, walking frantically until she encounters Death Dream.
Your coven is shrinking. The bodies are really piling up.
Despite Agatha having fulfilled her obligations, Wet Dream is still pissed.
You were distracting me from him. He is an abomination.
Man, that's just mean.
He is disrupting the sacred balance.
They have a lover's quarrel.
No one in history has had special treatment like you.
You gave me nothing. You took.
Which culminates into the real argument.
Why do you let them believe those things about you? Huh? About Nikki?
Because the truth is too awful.
Because women truly enjoy having the same fights multiple times, Death Dream reiterates that Flamer's mere existence violates the natural order. Agatha agrees with zero resistance.
The son of the Scarlet Witch stole a second life. I can't let him do the same for his twin. I have to take him.
Then take him.
Just in case you thought there might be some character growth here.
I'm wicked!
But if that's the case, why hasn't Death just done this, you might ask?
You can't.
Huh?
If Billy is killed, he'll reincarnate again and then you'll lose him.
You see, Death needs Billy to turn himself in. In order to make this happen, Agatha and Wet Dream cut a new deal. Agatha will deliver Flamer if Death promises to leave her the fuck alone and not come for her even after she dies. Deathdream reluctantly agrees before cutting a hole in the scenery backdrop and leaving.
Well, at least that wasn't weird.
Yeah.
Flamer and Jada catch up to Agatha, who demands that they finish the road.
Your last name is a vegetable. Worst kind. It's like swallowing a doily. I'm surprised you survived this long, Kale. Get ready for it! Oh!
Our shoes.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that they took their shoes off too. But it turns out that the Witch's Road is a giant circle which leads nowhere.
Well, Scarecrow, it doesn't look like it's gonna take a long time to find the wizard.
This is a little detail that Agatha isn't exactly happy with.
How exactly do we get off?
You're cooked.
If you don't know, then keep quiet!
She wants to rewalk the road, but Flamer decides,
Screw the road!
And puts his shoes back on, which is actually the trigger for the next trial.
Hello?
Arriving in body bags.
Welcome to Cerebro.
By the way, what drugs do you think that the word assemblers are taking? They are in some sort of growing chamber equipped with UV lamps.
Are we supposed to grow something here? With no soil or water?
But they do have their personal effects, and just like that, the trial begins as the lights start systematically shutting off above them.
You seem relaxed.
Usually at this point, you're either complaining loudly or freaking out loudly.
I'm completely calm!
You know, for all the struggle they went through to figure out a name for this show, the most solid candidate was right in the script. As they try to figure out what they're meant to do, Jada says,
The doctor in Boston didn't take anything from me.
Which causes Agatha to react.
What? No, I never knew you ever passed through there, that's all.
It's at this point that Jada comes to the realization,
Are you the one who bound me? I didn't know it was you! Oh, y'all look alike!
I did the odd spell for banknotes. The patriarchy really shelled out to shush a lady.
Wait! No, not this time. Not this time. You know what? This isn't even worth the rise in blood pressure. This show simply can't get out of its own way. Every time the word assembly improves, they shoot themselves in the foot with this stupid buzzword shit. I really want to give credit to the last few episodes, but it's nearly impossible when you do stuff like this. Anyway, Jada pulls out a lock of Agatha's hair and binds her wrists in order to perform an unbinding ritual, consisting of 45 real-world seconds of her saying, "You hold nothing," over and over again. Jada's power is unlocked and she vanishes because once again her point in the script is done, so she's no longer needed. And that was the purpose for this severely forced exposition. No one here had any reason to say any of these things, except to manufacture drama to set up the situation. By the way, I didn't connect the dots until they said her name earlier in the episode. Jennifer Kale is supposed to be the cousin of Johnny Blaze, aka Ghost Rider. This may be predicting the next race swap they have planned. Well, that just leaves us with Flamer and Agatha.
Yay.
Agatha attempts to do that thing where she coaxes others into blasting her for power.
I came here for power. You have power. Juice me up.
You know, the thing Flamer has been warned about and has already seen kill people. Rather than fall for that, Flamer opts to allow Agatha to aid him in finding a body for his brother. He succeeds by locating what I theorize must be Jason Voorhees.
They tricked him! He's gonna drown!
And he vanishes. Wait a minute! Isn't this the exact opposite of what Death told you to do? Seriously? Okay, I was able to suppress it before, but not this time.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
You cut a deal to stop this second chance bullshit, remember? And here you are already breaking the rules of the deal, not even 30 minutes later in the episode. She now has no reason to uphold her half, you retard. Anyway, this leaves Agatha all alone in the trial. She opens up her locket and finds a single dandelion petal. She plants it in dirt that was revealed through a crack in the floor when Flamer disappeared. And with a single tear grows a full dandelion, allowing her to escape.
I played by your rules and I passed the last trial! Get me off the road!
Transported back to the real world, she's confronted by Deathdream.
I want my prize!
What the fuck is that?
So do I.
I guess it's that time again. While I'm occupied, I'll let her explain why she's not the least bit happy with Agatha not keeping her end of the bargain.
I got you the kid out!
He was supposed to surrender himself.
Thought you knew.
That means you're coming with me.
Honk, honk.
Okay, I'm back, and I regret nothing.
No regrets.
Since Agatha didn't do what Death wanted, she plans to take Agatha instead.
I'm thinking death by 1,000 cuts!
Without any powers, Agatha is simply no match for Death and is all but dead. But this is a Marvel show, so it's time for a little LGB-addle. Arriving just in time and out of nowhere, Flamer slaps Death out of the way and blasts Agatha to give her a power boost.
Don't take it all.
So I'm not really sure how to sum this up from this point forward. Marvel live action always tends to boil down to a CGI heavy fight at the end of everything, but even the worst culprits usually still have their merits. But honestly, this one is just kind of lame. It consists of different color blasts and the occasional telekinetic push.
This is futile. You know it. We can't fight death. It should be me.
Since Flamer is mentally deficient, he decides he's gonna go instead.
I'll go with you. That's my choice. Take me.
Wouldn't you know it, this is exactly what Agatha planned.
Take him! What? You heard him!
Flamer is shocked by this for some reason.
Just know that I do not trust you.
Like, you shouldn't be caught off guard by this at all. You just offered yourself up as tribute to save the least trustworthy bitch in the entire world.
Why am I not surprised, you piece of shit?
But as she gloats, Flamer telepathically communicates with her.
Agatha. Is this how Nikki died?
Causing her to change her mind and kiss Death. A kiss, by the way, which a select minority is acting as though is the first lesbian kiss in cinema history. This is not the win you think it is, guys. It's just gonna be edited out of the international release. Either way, this kills Agatha. Death lets Flamer go, which really confuses me, because isn't he an abomination that needs to be eliminated?
You may go.
I still regret nothing. After all that, Flamer simply walks to his car. By the way, New Jersey license plates don't have towns on them. And drives home. As he looks around his room, he begins to notice that there are references to literally every single thing that they experienced. The realization slowly dawns on him. The road never existed. It was all a projection of his subconscious. And like a cocksucking Kaiser Soze,
Your language is offensive. Fuck you!
He fabricated it from things around the room. Greetings, showrunner. Have you paced your series so terribly that you are contractually obligated for one additional episode you can't be fucked to write? Well, fret not, because Penultimate Solutions is here to bail your dumb ass out. Bring us your notes and unfinished plot threads and we'll cobble together some shit in just a few minutes. Guaranteed to feel tacked on and pointless, or we'll do it again in half the time free of charge. In order to bring you such an affordable service, we have partnered with local community colleges around the country to pair you with an unpaid intern guaranteed to have at most a C average. Be sure to ask about our plot hole package, where we make sure to not only forget to answer questions, but actively contradict previously established portions of the story. So find us on Lookie Search, because last time I put a phone number in one of these gags, it turned out to be real.
What's up? What's up?
And let us ruin the ending of your show today. You know, if I hadn't used the gag for me not knowing if the show was over in the final video for Rings of Power, it would be applicable here as well. The previous episode had all the telltale signs of an MCU climax. Large CGI battle? Check. Shitty person sacrificing themselves for attempted redemption? Check. Vague open-ended storyline that lacks any closure whatsoever? Big ass fucking check. So what can one more episode possibly offer? Oh boy, we got ourselves a period piece. And no, that wasn't a menstruation joke. Well, I guess it's something a little different, albeit seemingly out of left field, but let's see where it goes. The episode starts with Agatha running through the forest. What she's running from or to?
Fuck if I know.
One thing I do know is that this chick is knocked up as all fuck. Stopping at a random tree, she cuts a lemon in order to, I guess, induce labor or some shit. As she experiences contractions, she is approached by Death, which apparently means the baby is destined to be stillborn. She begs Death to spare him.
Please let him live. Please, my love.
By the way, how does she know it's a boy? It's not like they had colonial ultrasounds. But unfortunately for Agatha,
I can offer only time.
How much time? She never specifies before vanishing. Agatha proceeds to give birth.
I smoke no smell. You are made from scratch.
Okay, but who was the father?
Fuck if I know.
And I fucking swear, if this is another one of those, oh, it's probably Mephisto moments, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Wandering through the forest, Agatha encounters a group of witches inside of a magic circle. Using Nicholas, she lulls them into a false sense of security and drains their power off screen. Weird, considering they need to attack her for this to happen and they have absolutely no reason to do so. But whatever. 6 years go by and we see an older Nicholas stealing a bell from a merchant's cart. a merchant who just happens to be a witch. You see, Agatha has decided that with her limited and ill-defined amount of time she has with him, she would like to turn Nikki into an accomplice for countless murders. Some real great mother-son bonding.
Mama, why do you kill witches?
To survive.
Now, I'm gonna give this episode a bit of credit here. This might actually be brilliant on the part of Agatha. As long as Death is distracted by daily killings of random witches, she can never come to collect Nikki.
Dang it, Dale. That's genius.
On the other hand, this might be me reading too far into this and assigning meaning that just isn't there. As the two of them walk, we see them develop a song which will clearly go on to be the Ballad of the Witch's Road.
Walk, walk, walk the road.
Agatha also explains to Nikki that she can't heal him or stop what's coming, and through the power of montage, they perfect the song. At a tavern, Nikki attracts the attention of a few local witches who offer to feed him, but he's had enough of this shit and takes off instead.
I thank you, but no. My mother needs me home.
In the woods, Nikki apologizes and promises that they can kill witches tomorrow. However, this is a promise he cannot keep, as in the middle of the night, death comes for him. Waking in the morning, Agatha finds the lifeless body of Nikki and breaks down. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've been pretty harsh on this show's inability to move the needle in terms of emotional impact, but this one got to me. I know it's a cheap tactic to use a kid for this, but props to the word assemblers for knowing it would work. I honestly didn't want to watch the episode a second time like I normally would, and it was a decent payoff for all the setup they did. As she buries him, she sings the final verse of the ballad they created, when she is overheard by a young witch who is also in the woods. The song she and Nikki created has spread quicker than she could have possibly imagined, and witches all over the world now believe the road exists. Hatching a plan, Agatha realizes this is the perfect way to lure more unsuspecting bitches to her in order to drain their power. And of course, like I predicted, I get to experience this fucking song yet again, as we are shown Agatha tricking dumbass bitches through history. With that unskippable cutscene finally finished, we rejoin Flamer having his usual suspects moment.
It was me. Boom! Ah!
You know, we usually get a bit more time before characters come back from the dead.
I saw you die.
Yeah, and now I'm a ghost. Can you dig it? By the way, I did not sacrifice myself for you.
Because he's about 4 sentences into this episode, I'm guessing he will ask a question in 3, 2, 1.
Did I make the road?
Like clockwork. Agatha explains to Flamer that the ballad was bullshit, and he comes to the realization that because of his obsession, 3 women are dead.
I'm a murderer. Alice!
Well, I killed Alice.
Lilia, in the tower.
That was her choice.
Mrs. Davis!
Who?
Just a little respect for the best mother in sitcom history. Is it so much to ask?
Way to go, dumbass!
As Flamer continues to have his anxiety attack over being responsible for the deaths, Agatha calms him down with some dubious reassurance.
If you actually do the math on it, you saved a life. I was gonna kill them all in my basement on day 1.
There's that non-existent character development again. And if that was your intention, why the fuck did you warn Myrtle about how to stop your powers?
I can't steal your magic unless you blast me with it.
Are we supposed to assume she's lying to him to make him feel better, or is this just more of the standard MCU plot inconsistencies? Flamer heads back to Westview to the basement of Agatha's house, where he draws a pentagram on the door to the road.
What are you doing?
I'm banishing you.
But for some reason, she won't simply go into the night. Flamer realizes that Agatha is resisting the afterlife because she doesn't want Nicholas to see what she's become since his death.
I'm sure he would forgive you.
It's when you say things like that you remind me of him.
Deciding they work best as a team despite everything pointing the opposite direction, Flamer uses magic to close the door to the road and turns it into a makeshift headstone.
One door closes.
And another opens.
Let's go find Tommy.
And with that, after 9 episodes, a ton of seriously questionable morality, and writing that was somehow both repetitive and inconsistent simultaneously, this chapter of the MCU is officially in my rearview mirror. A show that no matter how fast I drove, I couldn't seem to get through quick enough. It's becoming comedic how not a single word assembler in Hollywood seems to understand pacing. I know it was a running gag for a while.
The pacing of this film is terrible, and it could have been cut down by 20 to 30 minutes.
But Agatha might be one of the worst culprits yet. The show started out fine with the micro episode involving Agatha trapped in Wanda's mind control spell, but as soon as we came out of that, shit quickly went off the rails. By the end of the next episode, we were introduced to a plethora of characters.
A what? A plethora. Oh, yes.
with minimal backgrounds or motivations of their own. Instead of using the screen time wisely, all of the reveals for our cast are backloaded to the final stretch. Episode 6, for instance, could have been disassembled and interspersed as background revelations spread over multiple episodes. The same goes for the entire 1750s section of Episode 9. Both of these sets of flashbacks could have been used to build empathy for the respective characters, as well as tighten up the series' runtime by 2 episodes. This would have cut a lot of the dead wood from the dialogue and turned the premiere and finale into longer single episodes, rather than 2 separate dual releases in order to assure it finished on Halloween. Instead, we get crammed in info during the characters' last moments on screen, apparently to make us care about them when they die. But we have no history with them, so we just don't. Worse yet, they waited until episode 6 to start having random episodes or pieces of episodes from the perspective of other characters. Like, why? We are long past the point that this could have any type of audience retention effect. In the end, Agatha has a unique spot in the MCU. Sure, they have genre jumped a bit over the years, but for the most part, everything was aimed at general audiences, but with considerations for comic fans. This was their first attempt to isolate a niche within a shared universe, and it had fairly predictable results. The lows were very low, like geriatric woman not wearing a bra low. At the same time, there were random nuggets of good that could be found throughout. Dare I say, had they not attempted to shoehorn this into the MCU and just made a Disney Plus show about witches, it might have actually been good. Normally I'd commend the showrunners for attempting to be bold and do something different, but not this time. This was a fool's errand, an abject failure from the onset due to the continued misplaced hubris of Disney. At their core, they truly believe the Marvel hype train can still drag any car down the track regardless of if people cared enough to board at the station. Hopefully they will eventually realize that the engine is running on fumes, because I, like many, truly miss when comic book films and shows appealed to comic book fans. And if that doesn't convince you that Agatha shouldn't have existed all along, I don't know what to tell you.